Hey there everybody, welcome back to the Sketch. My name is Jason Sketch and I'm super excited to bring you guys more Marvel Champions content. Today, Fantasy Flight has released a new article for a new hero and I'm pretty stoked about it. Let's head on down to the article and check out the new cards. Alright guys, so here we are at the article. I'm not going to read the article to you guys like you guys probably already are well aware, but I'll walk through the cards with you guys and give you guys some of my thoughts. I've already skimmed these cards briefly. It is Wonder Man and I'm super excited about it. Let's jump right in. So first and foremost, we've got this upgrade that's set up on the side. I thought it made him a form change hero, but not quite. So it still gives him a chance to do something really neat though, and it's kind of unique for him. It's kind of like a card tucking mechanic that Silk has, but it's a little bit different. So let's check it out. So it says, first off, we have Iconic Physiology. It's an upgrade. Permanent. Max 3 cards tucked here. Response. After you play an event with a printed energy resource, tuck that event from your discard pile under this card. Heal 1 damage from your identity. So you're going to continue to heal a little bit over time, especially if you're using those energy resources. So that's pretty neat. It's a hero focused on energy resources, which I think is pretty cool. Let's see if I can do... Yeah, I can do the arrows. Awesome. On my keyboard to see the next one. Next is the actual hero card. So here we are with Wonder Man. 2 thwart, 1 attack with an asterisk next to it, and 2 defense. He's an aerial character, so we'll probably see a lot of aerial events in his kit. As well, he's an Avenger. Power Recycling. Wonder Man gets +1 attack for each card tucked under Iconic Physiology. So he's going to get +1 attack for each card tucked underneath here, which is super cool. By the way, I love that art. That is sick. It's like an exploding phoenix type feel. That is, when I think Wonder Man, this is a really neat art. I'm not a big fan of this art here. It feels very cartoony to me. But, you know, to each their own, right? So, I still think he'll be a playable, fun character. Just looking at the first few cards. After Wonder Man makes a basic attack, discard each card tucked under Iconic Physiology. So that's a forced response. So you have to do that. You don't have a choice. You have to do that to make sure that that is happening correctly. But you stack up the 3, like it says, a max of 3 under here. You're swinging for 4 attack for basic attack. That's not a bad thing. Plus, you can thwart along the way. I think that is a really neat deal. And each time you play an event, right? So it's not unlimited. So you could play 3 small electric events and then swing for 4 on a turn. That's electric events, energy events. That's pretty crazy. Next you have, of course, Simon Williams, which is his real name, his alter ego. And he's got a recovery of 3, which feels kind of weird for an energy-based hero, but here we are. So, he's a civilian. So, Iconic Energy Being. You may include events with a printed energy resource icon from any aspect in your deck? What? So, he's a multi-aspect hero, but only focusing on energy resources. There's a lot of energy resources out there. Energy resource-based event cards, but still, that's huge. That is exciting. And then his setup is put up Iconic Physiology. This card's more fun. I like seeing him waving at the TV and stuff, being super, super cool looking, but very interesting. 12 hit points, by the way, and 6-card hand size. I didn't check the hero side. It's 5-card hand size. 12 hit points. That's a really good, decent hit points. It doesn't let him get the buffs from being 14 hit points, but still, it makes him a pretty sturdy character to work with. And he's constantly healing on the other side, so maybe that's why his recovery's kind of lower on his alter ego. That would make sense. Since you're continuing to heal with that Iconic Physiology. Now, something to note with Iconic Physiology, it is just a response. So, I just thought of this while I was thinking about the cards. If you can play an event in alter ego, that's not a hero specific, but it's an event in alter ego, you can still tuck it underneath him here and heal 1 damage still in alter ego too. So something to think about. All right, let's dive into the rest of this kit. We got 17 cards to look at, and we've only looked at 3 so far. All right, active altruism. Remove 1 threat from a scheme. Remove 2 additional threat from that scheme for each mental resource you overpaid for with this card. A maximum of 2. Remove 1 threat from a scheme. Remove 2 additional threat from that scheme for each energy resource you overpaid for for this card. Okay, so we're back to that overpaid thing that we saw back in Wasp. and Ant-Man. Um, interesting. It's cool that it's a zero cost event, so you could tuck this pretty quickly underneath him to add to your bonus for your attack. And being able to, if you spend, it's effective 3 effective resources to do 5 threat removal, that's not terrible. And even then, zero cost for 1 threat removal is not terrible. It's not like the best card in the world, but it's an interesting card that I can see some interesting moments being played, especially if you just play it real quick to add a boost to your attack. So, and to get a quick +1 heal. So that's not bad. Let's see what else he's got. The art there is pretty cool, though. I do like that the way he looks with that red jacket. That's really neat. Iconic Blast. This feels like a Bishop art already, so maybe the same artist that did Bishop. But that's also Wasp in the art, so that's really cool. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. Deal 2 additional damage to an enemy for each electric energy resource you overpaid for with this card, with a maximum of 3. Jeez. 2, 4, 6. So you can do potentially 9 damage with this card if you play your entire hand. Unless, of course, you're using a wild resource card or wild resources, or the double electric resource, which is energy, I think. Interesting. So a lot of it is focused on using as many energy resources as possible, electric resources as possible. We're just going to call it electric from now on. It's energy, but, you know, electric energy, you guys know what I'm talking about. That is interesting. Doing 9 potential damage, that's pretty cool. I'm already liking how he plays. A Starstruck. Attack, superpower. Alright, so deal damage to the enemy equal to your attack. If you overpaid for this card with a lightning resource, stun the enemy. Okay, so you could do like a 4... You can do up to 4 attack, potentially. And then, if you overpay for it, so you spend 2 resources to pay for it, then you're going to get a chance to stun the enemy. Which is nice, because then you can choose to or choose not to stun. 4 for 1 is actually pretty good. And note that all 3 of these events so far have the energy resource on them. Energy Siphon, of course, he's got a resource card as well. When you spin this card, take up to 3 damage. This card generates 1 additional energy resource for each damage taken this way. That's so cool! So now you're using your health as a resource to navigate how you use a resource card to impact the rest of your game. And it generates 1 additional resource. So not only are you already getting 1, you can get up to 4 resources this way, which overpays for several of your cards. This is such a good resource card. I wonder how many he's going to have in his kit. This is his 10th card. The artwork is phenomenal, by the way. This is incredible. Alright, he's got an upgrade called a Jet Belt. Exhaust Jet Belt to generate a, of course, energy resource for an event. Exhaust Jet Belt and discard a card tucked under Iconic Physiology. Generate a... Oh, interesting. So if you get a card stuck back there that you don't want to lose, or you want to get back into your deck, you can do that. I wonder if there's another benefit for discarding it. I guess you need to discard it so you can cycle... So you can cycle healing, essentially, which is kind of cool. So you discard 1 to put another card under there so you can heal. And you generate an energy resource every time you use it. That is, for 2 costs, that's actually a really good way for you to cycle through that. I bet that really helps this kid out quite a bit. Mr. Hollywood, that's a fun name, generates another energy resource to overpay for a card. Limit once per card. Okay, so you use this to kind of help overpay for cards. But it's not an exhaust. Note that. It's not an exhaust. And it's an upgrade. So there's no exhaust to it. It just generates an extra resource for you. So all of the rest of his kit, this, where you need an extra resource or you can overpay for something, this card helps you do that for a card and generate a energy resource to overpay for a card. So if you're playing with that wasp, there's a wasp, 0-cost wasp, that's a aggression card. If you overpay with that, you can use this card to help overpay for her kit as well. Heroic Conditioning. Play under any player's control. Alright, here we go. Get +3 hit points, and your hero gets +1 thwart. Okay, cool. So I think we've seen some of these heroic conditionings already, or some of these conditioning cards in previous articles. But this is one with a cool Hawkeye on there, by the way. +3 hit points, which is so good. And it's going to make Endurance not played as often. I think Endurance can still be played with it, but not as much in conjunction. On top of that, you can play this on any hero. I can really see teams, if you all bring 3 of these in your kits, you can really boost each other's health to a stupid amount. That is interesting. I'm kind of curious how these conditioning cards are going to impact the game. I guess we're off aspect now, so we're actually looking at aspect cards. Next is Firebird. Ooh, a new ally. Let's go. So 2 thwart and 2 attack with 2 consequential damage on the attack. Aerial and Avenger. If you overpay for Firebird, put 1 rebirth counter on her. So again, here's the overpaying system that we were talking about earlier with Wasp. Now you're doing it with her, which she has a card that'll let him do that. When Firebird would be defeated by consequential damage, remove 1 rebirth counter from her. Heal all damage from her instead. I'm a fan. I am a huge fan of this card. Overpaying for her. If you overpay for Firebird, put one rebirth count on her. Not for each of her payments. So essentially, she's still living for 4 health. For 2 costs, you overpay for her, so you're paying 3 resources to make it happen. He's already got a card in his kit that lets him do that. I don't see why he wouldn't be played in her kit for a Justice set for sure. I really see the potential. There's a lot of cool things that can happen with this card and this character. Of course, she's a unique ally as well, so very interesting. So you could have her attack twice, or you can have her thwart 4 times. Such a good card. Everywhere all at once. All right. So X event. So that means you pay a certain amount with X equaling whatever it needs to be. So you can only play this identity if your identity has the aerial trait. Okay. Hero action. Thwart. Choose X schemes. Remove 2 threat from each chosen scheme. 3 threat instead if you have overpaid for this card. Choose X schemes. Remove 2 threat for each chosen scheme. 3 threat instead if you overpaid for this card. So I'm assuming like, okay, I pay 1, and lets me remove 2. If I pay 2 to just do 1, then so both those X's have to equal. That is interesting. That's a fun little card. I can see this being helpful in a situation where there's a lot of side schemes out. But I don't see this being a card where you want to run 3 necessarily in your kit all the time. Probably 1 or 2. It's a cool card though. Sentry, another ally, good. 2 thwart, 3 attack, aerial and Avenger. Oh boy, and it's a 3-cost Sentry, by the way, which makes him very playable. 5 health, by the way, with 3 costs. That's ridiculous. And no double consequential damage. What is happening here? And 3 attack. 4, by the way, for a Justice ally to have 3 attack, that's pretty great. After Sentry enters play, search the encounter deck for a side scheme and reveal it. Okay, so he's going to bring a side scheme in. That's why it's costing lower. If no side scheme was revealed this way, place 6 threat on the main scheme. Okay. Interesting. So he's bringing threat. When he shows up, more threat shows up because of all the nonsense that's Sentry. But he's still able to handle a lot of different things. I want to play with this card before I have any comments about the card. But I want him to do well. I wish he had the Thunderbolt trait just because of the movie. But I know he's not from the movies. He's actually an Avenger in the comics. Interesting that we're getting to see him again in a different aspect. So it's kind of cool to see him in two different aspects now. That'd be something interesting to be talked about on Sidekicked. If you haven't listened to Sidekicked, it's a podcast that I do for Marvel Champions. Check that out. Look us up on YouTube and Spotify and all the other places you find podcasts. We talk about allies and other fun things. All right. Sentry. Interesting. Again, energy resource, and these are all, like every card we've seen today, except for Heroic Conditioning, has either had an energy resource or a wild resource. Okay. Scarlet Witch! A new Scarlet Witch card! Finally, we get an ally for Scarlet Witch that's not stuck in Quicksilver's kit. That's exciting. 2 thwart, 2 attack, Avenger and Mystic, so that's going to be a crazy thing to add to any Mystic deck now. Force response with 3 health, okay. Force response, after you play Scarlet Witch, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If it is a treachery card, resolve its when revealed ability. For 2 costs, and to deal with a treachery that you can probably cancel, because there's cards that let you cancel treacheries, this is not bad. For her, only no double consequential damage, she can at least thwart 3 times for you, or take a hit. 2 cost allies are just good in general. Do not downplay this card. I think this Scarlet Witch card is going to be very good. Mental resource, so that's something to note. So he's not getting all energy resources in his kit, but I'm excited. I'm very excited. By the way, in the comics, he's in love with Scarlet Witch, and there's a whole thing where Vision and him are competing for her, I think, or he's like upset with Vision for being in love with her, and he's a human and Vision's not. There's a whole dynamic there. Part of him goes into Vision to help revive Vision. I think he dies. It's all a thing. If anybody of y'all know more of this history, don't be afraid to let me know. I'd love to talk to you guys more about that. It'd be really cool to discuss that in the future. All right, here we go. It's an event from a different aspect, so if they're already building it into his kit when you receive it, that's exciting. This may be a back of a pack card. I'm not sure how they're going to approach this just yet. But it's Stronger Together. It's a protection event. Here we go. Energy resource. My words, right? Hero Interrupt. When a character other than your hero would take any amount of damage, if that character shares a trait with your hero, reduce that damage by your defense. Whoa, I gotta read that again. When a character other than your hero would take any amount of damage, if that character shares a trait with your hero, reduce that damage by your defense. This is an event card. 0 cost event card. Where you're defending but you're not defending, as long as they share a trait with you. This... Why is Protection getting all the cool crap this year? He's getting so much good stuff. This is an interesting card. I like it a lot, especially if you're like, okay, I'm just going to play X-Men, or I'm just going to play Avengers, or I'm just going to play Ariel, or whatever. This is such a good card, especially if you're playing Children of the Atom and they all share aspects with each other now. Use it to keep your multiple men out longer. Interesting. Interesting. I like this card a lot. Bombs Away. Alright, it's a 2-cost event. Energy resource as well. Exhaust an aerial character you control and choose a player. Deal 3 damage to the villain for each minion engaged with that player. Exhaust an aerial character you control and choose a player. Deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with that player. So basically... This is so dumb. This is like a really like a souped up firepower. You play, and his kit's gonna be great because you can just find whatever. But you find an aerial character that you can just let sit out there and just exhaust to make this card go off. Our aerial character's expensive. That's something I need to look and research. This is a very interesting card. I don't know how many aerial characters there are in Aggression. But then again, there's that Wasp. There's a 0-cost Wasp that if you ever pay for, you get her on the table for 1 health. You get her on the table for 1 health, and her whole purpose is either to make that 3 attack that she has, or to sit and exhaust her bombs away until the end of the game where you need her to make 3 attack. Or defend for you. This makes her a very viable, very good card. Oh my gosh. And this card feels better than Firepower, even though I like Firepower a lot. I'm exhausting 1 card versus 3, and I'm dealing 3 damage to every minion and villain to any of the players on the table, including myself. So if I get in a situation where I'm playing Thor and I'm calling in a bunch of minions, oh cool, I'll just exhaust this aerial character and do 3 damage. This is just like a smaller lightning strike that he has. This is a very nice card, and it will help his lightning strike. This is going to be a good card for Thor. It's going to be a good card for Thor. Thor, you can put it with the new Tiger that's coming out when she gets to swamp down with minions. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. All right, we have 1 card left to look at, guys. Unified Strike. All right, so I'm guessing all 3 of these cards are going to be in his kit. Now that I'm really thinking about it, because he can be that multi-aspect character. And these are all like stupid cheap or 0 cost. So, United Strike. It's kind of looks like we're getting ready to do a fastball special with Vision and Hercules here. Tactic card. So this is a card for Cyclops. Hero Interrupt. When an ally would use a basic power, exhaust your hero. Add your hero's matching power to that ally's power for this use. The ally does not take consequential damage for this use. So I don't know how well it's going to work maybe with Wonder Man's kit, but just thinking about Cyclops here for a minute. You play, there's a deck out there, and I don't remember who made it, but I thought it was genius. We have Cyclops, Wolverine, and Rogue. Wolverine attacks Rogue. Sorry. Wolverine is there to do his thing. Rogue does her thing to Wolverine, gets his attack boosted. Gets his attack, so it boosts her. He heals from that damage he's giving to her. She's giving to him. And now you play Unified Strike on her when she attacks. So now you're adding in Cyclops' attack. Or basic power. So yeah, attack. To just boost her attack even more. And she doesn't take consequential damage. I see this card going in a deck like that in the future. I'm going to try that, actually, to see if I can make all of that happen. Wow. I can see Cyclops. It's a tactic, so Cyclops can just, I want to find this and look it up and use it. It's 0 cost, so it impacts me in no negative way. Incredible. I have to look at Cyclops 2 and see if he pulls up tactic upgrades or just tactics. But still, this is great. Overall, I'm excited. Overall, I'm excited about Wonder Man. I think he's going to be such a fun hero. I want to hear what you guys think down below. Leave some comments. Leave me a like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm trying to reach 300 subscribers. I want to know what you guys think of this kit, because I'm already reading this article, and I'm super stoked about Wonder Man. Some of the art pieces I'm not a big fan of, but that doesn't matter. What matters is this hero's going to play so well. He's got so many good cards in his kit. He's going to be a freaking blast. Do not miss out on this hero. You're not going to want to miss out on Wonder Man at all. He is going to be one of the funnest heroes of the season. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you so much for vibing with me, chilling. As always, my name is Jason Sketch, and next time I'll be deadly serious next time. Leave your comments down below.